Okay, so welcome to this monthly Cloud Native Nordics Hangout, and we don't have that big of an agenda, or it's actually building at the moment, I can see. So it's been 2 months since the last call, so I hope we have a lot of interesting stuff to talk about. There's at least something around Baby as the new platform from the CNCF for meetups, which we should migrate to in, I don't know, before February or something like that, but I can sure Iho will probably tell a lot more about that. Maybe just do a brief catch up, everyone. I see we are around 8 people here, so maybe just a quick round the table of how things are going locally. That could be interesting, what your plans are in terms of bridging the physical versus the virtual stuff. Could be interesting to hear maybe something about. For us here in Aarhus, we actually met in the beginning of August because we saw that it seems like everything was opening up again here in Denmark, but then suddenly, the number of infected increased, and we got a lot of restrictions, so we had to cancel everything we planned, which was kind of, I guess that's just how it is right now. So we have put that on hold until it's starting to look a lot better now. So hopefully within a month or two, we can start to kick off the physical in-person meetups again. That's at least what we hope to do. So anybody else want to maybe do a quick catch up on what they're doing and how they're sort of handling the COVID
Yeah,
thing?
I can go. It's we are mainly keeping it virtual right now. I think the recommendations are now like groups of less than 50 people are fine, but at the same time, it's like it feels a little bit unsure. Most offices are closed. If you can work from home, you should work from home, etc. Are the guidelines currently, and then it doesn't feel motivated to do a in-person meetup currently. So we are looking at, I should just say the summer zero happened. So now it's time to start up again and try to make something happen. And we will continue to try different virtual setups for the foreseeable future.
Cool. Alan, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but we've talked about it, and also talked to a number of people, and what they're really interested in is the physical part of it. So they want to meet in person and discuss in pairs and stand in a corner, discuss some concrete problems and stuff. And so we haven't really seen a support for doing these kind of events, although we have discussed it actually. And that one of the things that I tried to say is, well, we could do something, as this, doing either using Meet or Zoom or whatever, but people are not interested because they say that there are a completely different set of offerings that, without disrespect, has a quality that at least equals or better than what we can achieve on a local basis. So that's why they don't see the need for that in the local chapter. I don't know if that's something you other people can recognize as well.
Definitely, yeah.
So say that again. So like you meant that there's not need for local virtual stuff.
That's what I've been. That's what I've been. Yeah, that's what they tell me. That it's simply not interesting enough, and people, okay, yeah, we might, but then again, we might not, and it's very difficult to get a commitment saying that we would actually be there. But if it's happening in persons, in real life somewhere, people feel more obliged to actually be there, and they like the different dialogues between groups or people from other companies that they have come to know, and that's what they really want. And they don't see that format actually being possible in a way that contributes enough if they have to, you know, prioritize their time. So, but
Perfect.
maybe just your idea about the you know, the dedicated rooms maybe that could do
It
something
might
about
solve
that.
part of it, to have like more utilize Zoom breakout rooms, to have like smaller groups to get a discussion going. But I think the problem that you described, it's something that I recognize from our groups as well. And part of the crowd that usually shows up, they show up because it's their friend, it's a subject they think is interesting, and foremost there is beer available and
I
you
get
can
free
drink and
food.
have a good time. You don't have to be home. You can have like, you get a break. It's your alone time doing something
Yes.
that you think is fun. And
Yeah.
that is probably something that is hard to achieve when doing it in a virtual setting. But I think that we can make an effort on getting more of the discussions that we're currently lacking, because as we mentioned before, before we went on air, we discussed that it's a lot of just consuming more information, like just taking in information a little bit, and not so much of a dialogue going on, and not having like that discussions going. And I think that's a lot of people are lacking that. They want to have the stand in the corner at a meetup and talk with someone else that seems to have an interesting problem that matches their own. And they are currently not getting that from the virtual meetups that we have been doing, because we have done it in the conference talk style, where we just push out information rather than opening up for having discussions. And I think that will be one of the challenges moving forward. It sounds like, but the meeting your buddies over a beer, that problem will be hard to solve currently. So we can focus on other part.
Actually, I run a different setup, and I was that's within a completely different context. And we also had to do it virtually. And I was asking the people behind the platform, could we possibly create something where we order some takeaway and get that, you know, brought out to the people attending that meeting at a certain time without saying anything. But unfortunately, this was just too complicated a logistic setup, because I
That would have been
think that,
awesome.
yeah, exactly. That was my thinking as well. That's yeah.
We in our company we had some meetings where, well, coffee and cakes or ice cream or something. You make your own coffee and buy your own ice cream, and you just show up for the meeting.
Yes. Yeah.
Which went pretty fine. But now people just drink coffee at the meetings anyway.
Yes.
And do whatever they want. But we also, like friends group and stuff, organized Zoom meetings and stuff in the evening where you bring your own beer, and we sat down and chatted over a couple of beers, which were quite cool. And then the bars started opening up, and that ended. But it's certainly possible. But of course, what you're missing out in by having virtual conferences and meetings and stuff is the hallway track, which is perhaps the most important session in any conference and in workplaces as well. So setting up places where you can just talk in the hallway kind of way, that's something you're missing when you're working from home, right?
Yeah, I totally agree. That's also what I missed the most in at KubeCon virtual this time. Just having a place to join a call, whatever, and just talk with people about random topics, whatever. It was nice. One thing that was actually nice was the all the Slack channels, because we saw a lot of discussion that we probably would have missed being there in person. And just having the ability to go back and read that again and ping the person, and so that was one of the upsides, I guess. But I totally missed the in-person random discussions, meeting random people. And that's also, I guess, what we have heard here in Aarhus is also that we can the virtual meetups we did has been fine, and it's been working well, but we really want to get back and talk to each other, and having a good way to do that is very interesting. And from what Jessica told, it's could be a cool solution to try that out, at least just to see how it works. And if it works, awesome. If it doesn't, we can figure something out. But yeah.
I was planning to create some kind of Google form or similar to send out maybe we could just, like collaborate on that, make one single Google form and say, what's your feeling about the next, pick your city and what's your feeling, when should we have the next meetup? How many people should be allowed to come? And, just to gather some data points around that, because I feel that I can have an opinion, but I don't know if it's representative. So especially as I haven't been in the Helsinki region until literally yesterday. So yeah, I guess, but I don't see having a meetup maybe myself before beginning of October, mid-October timeframe, just because of the planning and stuff. And especially if we have to take a lot of care with one thing event organizers here have been doing, if they really have to have an event, is like, then we need to collect people's emails or phone numbers. We need to say what we use those phone numbers for. We need to say that, if someone is well, actually there's maybe a solution in Finland for that now, but like on a high level, they have been, collecting that, requiring or like encouraging people to say if they got the virus, they tell us, and we have to, tell everybody else that you might have these, and that's why we need that kind of personal data. But then when handling personal data, we have all the GDPR stuff. So it's like that's been one of the challenges, and especially as in Meetup, we can't really. Well, we could. I don't know if it even would work to use Meetup's platform for that, and just say people who attended this event. Maybe that would be enough, but maybe not. So
at least for the meetups that are connected to the Cloud Computing Foundation meetup, there are some tick boxes. I just briefly saw that you require some real names and organization and contact information.
Okay,
but I'm not sure where. But I'm not sure where it shows up. It doesn't show up in the sort of the regular attendee list. Might be something that you can get from sort of the organization, the Cloud Native organization in Meetup. Maybe Bevy have this functionality.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know.
But are those requirements from the government in
so
Finland?
kind of not. I guess more like recommendations. Okay. On that side. I mean, there's under other mandatory stuff, but that's more recommendations. But actually yesterday or Monday, they released this app which has a Google Apple collaboration thing with Bluetooth. So now we have that in Finland, and now that we have that thing, we could actually kind of get through it if they could all show that they have the app. But again, it's like you can just disable Bluetooth at any time, and don't then kind of there it goes. But at least it's better than nothing. Also, it's still like voluntary to, if you have got the virus, it's still voluntary to tell people that you got the virus. So it's like.
Can I offer like a popular, most likely unpopular opinion? Like, I do understand how nice it is to meet people in person and drink beer and discuss cloud native stuff. But seriously, do we need to do it right now? Is this where we will focus our in-person meetings? I think most people, if given the choice, would rather see like family, their sisters, their brothers, their parents, etc. So for me, I feel like I'm in no rush to create in-person meetings, because I feel like it's definitely not the top priority right now. Unless we end up in a place where it's like all restrictions are lifted. But as long as we have some kind of restrictions, I feel like this is not where I will put, on a personal level, I'm not interested in meeting random strangers and talk cloud native just because having an in-person meeting, then I'd rather go see my family. So I feel like it might be more work than it's more effort than it's worth to organize in-person meetings right now, even though that probably sucks for some people. But I think that's the approach I will take in Gothenburg currently, at least.
I think it's very sort of polarized how people feel about it. If I think I know you're definitely not alone on that opinion, but I also know people who says that this is like, you know, completely hysteria, and still even regardless of numbers and stuff, they still think that it's completely, you know, misproportioned. It's not proportioned in the right way, I think. But there's another also very concrete issue, is that the companies that are usually offering us to be host for the events, they have to carry extra you know, cleaning and all that kind of stuff, and the logistics are simply much more complicated, because they have to live up to a different set of rules right now for actually hosting people and admitting people to their offices and stuff. So there's also a series of practical problems that at least I've been presented for, that I did not think about until I was told that we would really like to do this, but we can't, and we actually struggle by just having, you know, being able to feed the employees that are on site right now, and still, you know, live up to the regulations that has been posed on us from the official authorities. So there's a lot of different issues that yeah.
That's true. There's like extra cleaning and all the things to consider as well. True. Yeah. So it might be, if you want to host an in-person meeting, it might be extra hard to find a venue for that meeting.
Yeah,
that's why Knut's idea is actually interesting, because as far as I understood you, Knut, then you were actually doing some stuff on a public place where they already have those considerations to live up to. If you were meeting for a beer somewhere, maybe, I don't know, if people want to do that, then it could.
Yeah,
be
well, we were sitting at home.
Okay, sorry.
Everyone
doing it over the web, but
okay.
yeah, you had like instead of going out and have a beer, you just meet up for a video chat, and have a beer at home, which
I mean,
pretty social, right?
Yeah, and that's something that you could do if you're doing a virtual as well. You could be like, oh, here's a suggested pizza you can order, and here's online pizza for this thing that we would have brought into the office in case you want inspiration for where you can get your food for the meetup. And I'm not sure we should encourage people to buy alcohol, but I guess we can link to like non-alcoholic beer and stuff as well.
Has anyone tried this only local? Because we have been doing the Cloud Native Nordics stuff, which is more sort of focused on the entire Nordics. Have any of you tried to do just a local group thing only type of meetup online?
Yeah.
So one thing which I was discussing with Oliver was to have, I don't know how this would play out, but would be to, because I have the streaming equipment and stuff, so I would gather, say, a panel of 4 maybe. We would have our computers close, we would have the streaming equipment set up, and then we would invite the, say, Finland community or the whole Cloud Native Nordics community to ask questions from these. We would have, if nobody asks questions, we, have some predefined topics we're going to talk about. I'm moderating maybe. But then if somebody has a question, like how do I, set up traffic with Kubernetes in kubeadm, and something like that, something which is can be replicated, then that person just, fires up their laptop, logs into the Zoom, shares the screen, and, starts doing it. Maybe even the breakout rooms could be used there for those people, the people that, just don't want to listen to the panelists. But that was like one of the things we were thinking about. We haven't done it yet. Of, bridging that we have, the 3 predefined persons that are speaking, if they're given that they're fine with, meeting, which is not a huge amount of people, yeah, then we could kind of bring the in-person feeling of like not everybody just sharing from their laptop. You know, they actually sit in chairs, maybe 2 meters from each other or whatever, but still like fair enough so we can get them on using one camera. So I don't know what you think about that. If it would be a like cool thing to do. Should we do it like all of Nordics, or should we, you know?
I think we are everyone is
Okay.
struggling to provide some content, so it would be nice to. So if anybody has a good idea and wants to do something, it would be nice to, as an organizer in another group, just to have the option to set up an event and point their sort of members to that session, just to keep, you know, the momentum going in the group and having stuff going on and say, hey, we are still alive. We want to do stuff, but we sort of struggling to figure out how to manage in this new world of virtual meetups. And yeah, so I think it would be nice to have it on a Nordics, but that sort of also maybe put some more sort of work or expectations into the thing that you are doing. But
can I add some perspective to that?
Yep.
I think the panel sounds like a really nice idea, and if you want to, I think it would be good to have it like Nordics wide. But I also think it doesn't solve the problem we discussed earlier about wanting to connect to your friends in the group that you haven't seen in a long time, which is why I was planning to do the like, what did you like from KubeCon discussion, just sharing your favorite talk from KubeCon in only Kubernetes Gothenburg group, because I was thinking of hoping to bring out more discussions, and maybe it's easier if there is like, oh, I remember you, we talked at a different meetup, rather than when it's such an open topic, and try to create this, oh, I get a chance to hang out with the people I haven't seen in a while. Well, if it's a panel with like more real topics, can I call it that? Then it feels like it might be easier to, even if there is no one you recognize since before. Does that make sense?
yeah, that's a really good idea.
So I think like maybe if we together spend the effort of creating like really good content that we can share between the Nordics, and do that not that often, we can try to keep try the open space, try more the just a nice time hanging out, drinking some beer together in the local groups, to keep that connection between people who might know each other going a little bit better until we can go back to live events.
Yeah.
Could I suggest that if we had if we create a channel on the Slack for you know, specifically for events that are open for people from other groups, and maybe another one for inspirational evenings like the ones you or Knut were talking about. Could that be one way of sharing that information?
Or I'm thinking we can keep the event to be as it is now, like
Oh,
anyone can join. If you post there, anyone can join. If
okay.
not, then you don't post for your group. If you want to keep it only your group, then post it just on Meetup and contain it in such a way.
Yeah, cool. So you're planning to do something, Jessica, and trying this out with the breakouts?
Yeah, I'm waiting for the KubeCon talks to end up on YouTube, because I kind of want people to be able to bring a link to a talk they liked. It's the whole idea. So because there will also be people who did not attend, and I want us to be able to discuss the content that for that. But Lucas, did you feel like you got an answer on your question that you asked? I felt like you got like a lot of just comments, not really an answer.
I don't know what I asked anymore, so
okay.
I guess it's fine.
That is probably good.
Your panel is a great idea, Lucas.
Yeah.
That was the essence of the answer, I guess.
Yeah.
No,
Just do it.
Sorry.
Yeah, just do it. I guess that's the answer.
Yeah. No, so it would be a fair amount of work to do that. So I guess that I'm maybe gonna start with what you suggested, because also it might be a bit optimistic to think that, you know, having a panel, although we say, you know, ask us anything, well, people actually do it, compared to like if they just show up. But if they, yeah, so it's hard. Maybe let's try the easier to organize variant first, similar to what you described. Use Zoom breakout rooms for like open space stuff. If I do that, I will do it for the whole Finland, because, you know, it's not that many people anyways.
I think we have at least a problem from if you don't have your own Slack with that option enabled. We are currently on a plan for this account that do not support breakout rooms, as far as I know.
Is in Zoom.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For the Cloud Native Nordics channel of Zoom account, it's only a pro account, and I think breakout rooms or as a separate add-on feature or something like that.
But we should have one for the CNCF community, right?
Yeah, I think there's you can get your own room, but on the CNCF Zoom, as far as I understood. But having the option to create rooms within the room, I don't think that's an option.
I'm not sure as well, but you can ask it to the resource desk. Amy is the best person to ask it, because Amy is managing that stuff. Yeah. But alternatively, we can, we'll speak about beta later, but I want to highlight that there is the video minutes feature embedded into Betty, so you can replace Zoom with Betty itself. You shouldn't use, you shouldn't rely on Zoom only if you will use Betty for that, so you can just use all the tools that are embedded into Betty.
So to answer your question, maybe I'll just for 2 seconds share my screen so it's easier for you to see. I just Googled Zoom breakout rooms, and I think we should, because it says account owner or admin privileges. So I think, Casper, you should be able to set the breakout room option, and then it will start showing up in our meetings.
I just Googled cost, and it says that it costs $49 per room per month.
Yeah.
No, so so there's Zoom rooms, but that's different from breakout rooms in Zoom.
But it said breakout room as well in parentheses. Damn it, I can't get it. Oh, wait.
Limitations of breakout rooms.
Here, let me see.
In Cloud Native Bergen, we have been using Discord, and then you can basically create as many rooms as you like.
Yeah, but I think
that's
migrating to one more platform will be pretty hard.
Yeah, but I find Discord actually works better for conferences and stuff like that, because of the breakout room, and easy to switch between rooms, just a mouse click away, and the ability to chat as well helps a lot. But it does have some technical challenges, and it's not as easy to set up as Zoom or Google Meet.
Yeah. But it's a little interesting, since sort of the payment model sort of flips it a little bit round. It's not, you sort of don't pay for the rooms or anything. It's the presenters that has to have a subscription in order to have best quality for their screen sharing. So it's sort of like a little bit decentralized payment model to some extent. But otherwise it's free. There are some limitations, the maximum participant limits and so forth, but otherwise it's completely free, and you can use it for free. You just get a little bit reduced quality on the audio and video from the presenter.
Does Bevy have breakout rooms built in? Do you know that, Ior?
Actually, I'm not sure. We have to double check. I don't remember. So Bevy has been showing the presentation of their virtual feature, but I don't recall if they've been showing anything like the record.
I also watched the training session there was, but there were two questions I had after watching it. One was the breakout rooms and like fully how that part works, but also I felt like the instructions on how to sign up for Bevy was for new meetup groups.
Mm-hmm.
But what I did was that I filled out the Google form again for my meetup group.
Yeah.
Was that the correct approach to take to get access?
And you've been added and you have to receive an email.
I have not received an
Okay,
email.
so I'll report this to Barry because it was so. I've added you, and you had at the point when I confirmed yourself as a group leader, you had to receive an automated email by Barry. So I'll report this to them.
Okay.
Yeah, please do so.
Ihor, could you put a quick link for me? I know I have it somewhere in my email, but can you put a quick link to the recording and or the presentation in the notes here? So.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Actually, when I signed in now here, I can see I have the dashboard, but I haven't received an email, so I can see that I'm now an admin. And what happens is that you go to, I can share my screen maybe.
Yeah, that would be nice, just to see how things.
Yes, you can see how it looks.
Yeah.
So, oh God, so stupid. Okay, so this is how it looks. And apart from this very small banner at the top, it looks exactly the same when you sign in as a user that are not an administrator. So what you can do is that you can, if you haven't already signed up your meetup to get a bevy set up, you can do apply to host meetup, and we'll open up the GitHub page, which has a link to this, but also the form. And you fill out the form again for your meetup group. If you have multiple meetup groups, you do it once for each meetup group. And once that happens, you will get access at one point or another, and may or may not get an email when that happens. And then that's all I know, because I didn't know this. But there's like a dashboard, and you will be able to do things and stuff. And it's all in the training video that I think Ihor just linked as well. It should be linked from the GitHub page. You were going to add it, right?
Yeah, it's the bevy training session, a bit lower.
Oh, right here. Yeah. So it's also, they have, the ambassadors have set up a CNCF YouTube channel. I think they took inspiration from the Cloud Native Nordics channel, but I'm not sure. So that's where it's uploaded as well. If you haven't subscribed yet, you can do that. And I hope you didn't get that recording. Anyhow, it's the CNCF Ambassador and Meetups channel. And here's where like things are uploaded. What else can we say? I'm not sure. I don't know what happens, but I think I can create an event for here. And I might actually create one and keep it not published and ask some of you to join it to help me like check out the what happens with the video part and stuff like that. If that would be possible, I think that would be lovely.
Yeah, that would be good to sort out, maybe say in the coming month or so.
Next 2 weeks, I was thinking, but it sounds like you might have a lot on your plate right now.
I have a lot, but I'll try. I'll try to join. So Ihor or Jessica, as I think I saw somewhere here, the flow is that you're creating the meetup, all the meetup stuff in Bevy, and then it creates a similar thing using the bot account that you add as a co-organizer meetup. It uses that and the API to create all of the stuff in meetup. So
I haven't done that, but I should have gotten like new members in where are my groups? In Kubernetes Gothenburg, and I should promote that to be, I probably have a CNCF robot account as a member, and I should promote that to be a co-organizer. When it achieves co-organizer status, it will be able to cross-post things from Bevy to Meetup. And by doing such, we can get all the things happening in the meetups by just managing it through Bevy, as far as I understand it from the video. But I haven't tried it yet. So this is just repeating what's in the training video on YouTube.
Cool.
But there's like a few steps, but they are pretty clear on it in the guidelines. I think it's on the GitHub page. It says like you need to do this.
Nice. Are there any way to? I was just thinking, sort of the Cloud Native Nordics brand. Is that something that is dealt with within this platform, or is it just each individual group mixed across all the other groups, or are there any way to sort of tag that we are Cloud Native Nordics and that's us, or how does that work?
I don't think there's a way to do that, but you might know.
Technically, it's possible to create an umbrella chapter, but originally we decided that we want to keep that chapters per city. But it's a good point, since the Nordics is pretty unique umbrella organization across multiple chapters. So I have to think how to do it in a better way, but
Yeah,
it makes sense.
To be fair, now I don't want to underestimate ourselves, but to be fair, a larger country might just be its own chapter. So like there's many countries that have more people than all of the Nordics, so then it maybe makes sense for them to collaborate, or just regions of countries even. I guess the local organizers there just decide for themselves what they want to do. But I think that one, like, not multiple levels, but like CNCF, local-ish chapter, and then the groups. And then if the local-ish thing is like the whole of the Nordics, or if it's a country, or if it's part of a country, that they decide. But I think that would be useful as a just normal feature of the thing.
I think that the Brazil chapters are pretty big, and they have one that is like purely virtual and has always been, and they have one that is more like in person as well. And I think they were talking about getting like an umbrella for their meetups. Do you remember if anyone else recognized this?
I don't remember anyone else, but I was thinking, for example, Brazil.
Yeah.
It's like
they're kind of big.
Yeah, but they also have the dedicated chapters. If you check if you go to community.cncf.io and check out the list of chapters, you'll find that they have the dedicated chapters. Unfortunately, as far as I know, Bevy doesn't allow. Please click on South America. So you'll see a couple of Brazil chapters here. Unfortunately, Bevy doesn't allow to link, as far as I know, Bevy doesn't allow to link multiple chapters together. The only thing that you can do is to create one big umbrella chapter and to create multiple sub-chapters under it. So if you click on São Paulo, you'll see 3 subgroups here.
This is right. So you can have subgroups. Yeah. This is what I remember was part of the training.
Yeah. At the same time, we'll create the Nordics group, and we'll have multiple subgroups under it. These subgroups will not be shown on the general page of Bevy. So if people will search for, if people will try to find Gothenburg on the list, for example, they won't be able to do it. They will just find Nordics, and that's it.
Yeah. Then for me personally, I think it's more valuable to have the location be searchable than be under the umbrella of Nordics. Yeah, I think we can continue promote it in some other way.
Yeah, but I maybe, I mean, if you either have the possibility to bring this, upstream, bring this, to the folks that are developing Bevy, I think that would be, removing that requirement or that limitation would be, a nice thing. And also being able to, over time, move around these things, because they are not going to be static.
Yeah, this totally makes sense. Another alternative could be creating a dedicated chapter for Nordics, for example, purely for the virtual events, for example. So you can host your face-to-face events in your local chapters when you open them, and to run the dedicated events in the global Nordics chapter. But again, it's Kind of complicated because you'll have to manage the different chapters. And also, every single chapter has to be linked to some location, to some single city. It's yet another requirement by Baby. So, like, city is the atomic unit of the geographical position on the map. So you cannot link to the region. You have to link to some chapter. And in the case of Nordics, I'm not sure if there's, like some absolutely neutral city.
I mean, Gothenburg is in the middle of everything, so that's the natural choice for every, no?
Of course, and Helsinki will definitely argue with you on that.
So one other idea, without going into that, one other idea would be to use tags. So we could more freely, just tag every city, and then have one single page for each tag. So we would have a Cloud Native Nordics tag, and we could just tag all of the meetups which are in there.
Mm-hmm.
And then host our, like, on that, when you go visit that tag, it's very clear that we have our own branding, we have our own stuff, and say that all of these meetup chapters, they belong to this tag, and go check them out, and here's our site, and here's blah blah blah. So I think that would maybe be easier than creating multiple levels, that having everything flat level, but arbitrary tagging.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. Can I suggest you to, so we can do it easier. Can someone of you work on the public issue and open it in the CNCF community groups repo and describe all the requirements there? So all the functionality that you'd like to be implemented. I'll pass that to Beg, and we'll have this issue publicly tracked. It will be the easiest way. So someone can create an issue, someone else from your groups can also comment on your requirements, and we'll just pass it to Beg, and we'll work on them internally. It will be way easier than, like, I'll try to explain everything. What do you need? And probably can misinterpret some of your desires.
So we said feature recs. So we said be able to tag events slash
or chapters.
Chapters.
As they call, yeah.
Yeah. Chapters with tip Cloud Native Nordics. And we wanted, what else?
Landing.
Yeah, some kind of landing page.
For tags.
Yeah.
And the use case is we sometimes collaborate over Nordics and would like to have an umbrella for it. Umbrella in quotes. I can create such a ticket if you want me to.
Please.
Who wants to be mentioned in the ticket to be able to get updates?
You can mention me. That's fine.
Yeah, you can mention me too.
Is it?
Yes, that's correct.
Yes, and Luxus.
Anyone else? Cool. Then I can create that. I will mention us that this is like a requirement coming from us, and we are like hosting these different meetups. And I will try to. I might draft it and send it out in Slack, and you can review it, and we can update it if you, or I will commit it, and you will be able to tell me if you need it. Think it needs updates.
Cool.
And please tag me so I would not miss it in my email, and
Yes.
I'll self-assign this to myself.
Cool.
Yep. So before we end, we're kind of out of time, but before we end, just wanted to say that our DigitalOcean credits expired. And and the history of that is like we're running our site, static site on on Kubernetes with Prometheus and Grafana and all the Flux stuff and whatnot. For that we got $1,000 in credits from Eddie, who was developer relations manager at DigitalOcean. We actually only used $300 though, so we we could have spent more, and now that expired, it was a year valid. And but the problem was that I tried to email Eddie today, and he moved on to AWS. So now I don't know whom to contact in that regard.
It sounds like you should still email him, but at AWS, and we just move our stuff to AWS instead.
Actually, it was one of the items that I would suggest to you. So, as the CNCF ambassadors, you are eligible to submit your request to AWS to get a grant of 100 credits per month. It equals like $1,000 per year, something like that, from AWS. So if you can describe why do you need these credits in details and submit it to AWS, so you can get in line with them. You can also email me in parallel, so I can work in the background with AWS to have this grant allocated for you.
So AWS has that kind of program, but DigitalOcean doesn't officially.
CNCF ambassadors are eligible. So this is one of the benefits for the CNCF ambassadors. We don't have this agreement with DigitalOcean, but we have this agreement with AWS. So you're eligible to get up to $100 per month in credits from AWS.
Okay.
This is one of the newest benefits that we've introduced just recently.
Okay.
So it's a subject for, so it's not CNCF that is allocating these credits, it's AWS again, and they're making the final decision if you are eligible to get these credits, but from our side, we can sponsor you.
Okay.
Okay.
But the major requirement is that all this work that you are doing with this credit should be public and beneficial for the open source community, and so on. So if you have this published somewhere, I know that you have the GitHub organization and the GitHub repo that you're currently using for all your DigitalOcean assets. So if you can also utilize that for AWS, it would be great. Even better if you'll publish some kind of blog post later highlighting how these AWS credits have been beneficial for you.
Mm. Yeah, what we did with DigitalOcean was just to put a logo on our webpage. So the Cloud Native Nordics page has sort of a powered by DigitalOcean logo on it. But yeah, it would require us to migrate and do some work in order to do that. And the other thing is also, do we really need this Kubernetes cluster to run our static web page?
Yeah, I was going to ask, is it just not, can we use static hosting?
Yeah, and also with the CNCF moving away from meetup.com, the whole sort of meetup kit and all of that running where all the information is coming from is sort of dying very soon, I guess, unless somebody actually sits down and do the work in order to get the information from Bevy instead. But then there's a problem of what do we want as a landing page, and who is doing what, and how can we get the Slack invitations going still?
But since we're running out of time, can we expense the hosting for another month in DigitalOcean and bring this up in the next monthly meeting and decide on how to move forward? Because it sounds like it's a bigger discussion and a lot of things we need to decide.
Yep, I don't know if it's myself or Casper that has their credit. Well, both of us have the credit card in there somewhere, but I don't remember. I don't know whose it's been charging now this month, I guess. So I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But
how much is it?
I think it was just $30 or something. I think it's pretty much $30, per month. So yeah. But
I haven't used my budget, so if you need help covering it because you spent it on your meetup group already, I'm willing to help out.
We should have a lot of stuff because haven't been doing anything for a long time. Anyways, yeah, let's table that. But just to confirm, Bevy has an API. I saw that people discussed it, but I didn't see if they found the page. So
Yeah.
if there, I'll see how much I can do. Probably not too much. Starting school and all of that, really busy. But I'll try, because I think that, you know, the meetups would be pretty nice still. I never kind of finished it through for meetup.com because, well, knowing that we would anyways change. But maybe we should, you know, do that for Bevy using the API.
Yeah, but and also maybe just keep it really, really simple instead of all the details that we have currently, and just have each group with a number of sort of members or whatever we can do as a beginning, just to get a replacement out there and then host it in somewhere that's cheaper and not maybe Kubernetes, but just something, whatever works.
Yep. Let's see. So I'm gonna copy paste all of the stuff that Ihor sent us into the doc. There we go. So we make sure we keep track of things.
Cool.
And I'm personally, I'm not still convinced about the breakout rooms costing money. I'm gonna try that out myself, and hopefully not get a, you know, too huge bill.
Yeah, I saw the source I had was not Zoom's own documentation, so I might.
Yeah. So let's see. But let's try to figure that out for next time, and then.
And let's try out Bevy as well and see how that works.
Yeah.
Cool.
I will ping you in Slack regarding that.
Okay, and we are out of time, I guess. So yeah, thank you all for attending. Nice to see you again. It's been a while, so good to see you all, and hopefully see you all next week, next month, not next week. Yeah, and I'll stop the recording now.
Bye.